Hello, I would like to welcome everyone to our webinar with a wonderful title, Uncover the Full Benefits of Virtual Apps and Desktop Servers with Public Cloud Workloads. Now let me introduce myself. My name is Jan-Christopher Gärtner and I work as Product Strategist in EMEA at Citrix. Before we jump to the topic, I would like to start with a short general introduction to bring everyone on the same page. At Citrix, we are focused on a people-centric approach, and for that reason, we do not care from which location your employees want to work. We do not care from which device they want to work. We do not care if the apps and data is stored on-prem or in the cloud. We do not care which public cloud provider you prefer. We do not care if your employees want to use Windows, Linux, webs, SaaS, or mobile apps. What we care about is that your employees get their work done, securely and yet flexible. That is why at Citrix, our mission is to power a world where people, organizations, and things are securely connected and accessible. A place where all business is digital business. A world where our customers are empowered to make the extraordinary possible. So how do we do that? The easiest way to implement this people-centric approach is to leverage Citrix Cloud services. It is important to understand that Citrix Cloud itself is not a product. You cannot buy Citrix Cloud. It is the platform Citrix Workspace and all its services are delivered from. You can subscribe to individual services or predefined bundles to equip the workspace with the capabilities you need. Here you see the 10,000 feet view on Citrix Cloud architecture. One important differentiator of this architecture is that it supports hybrid cloud scenarios to make the transition into cloud at your pace. I like to explain the concept of Citrix Cloud Services using virtual apps and desktops as an example. And I assume most of you have a general idea of the on-prem virtual apps and desktop architecture. Basically, you can split the architecture in two major layers, the management and the resource layer. The management layer is required to operate the infrastructure. So in the on-prem world, before you can deliver your first desktop or app, you have to install controllers, databases, consoles, just to name a few. This is all overhead, which is required, but does not bring any benefit to business. With Citrix Cloud Services, you do not have to care about this management layer anymore. It is provided to you as a service, managed by Citrix. Just connect the resource layer that can consist of multiple resource locations. As the name indicates, resource locations are used to provide resources such as apps and desktops to your end users. Such resource locations might be in your data centers or on a public cloud, basically wherever you need it. This gives you a lot of benefits in regards to compliance, security, data sovereignty, and economics. As a result, you now have an environment that is fast. You can now rapidly deploy Citrix services in hours instead of days, weeks, or months. And you will automatically have access to the latest capabilities and innovations. It's secure. With our analytics-based approach to security, you will have visibility into the behavior and usage of everything across your infrastructure, so you can identify and mitigate threats. And you can close security gaps quickly, knowing that you are always up to date with the latest software and patches. It's adaptable. And as we have discussed earlier, this provides you with the highest level of flexibility by managing apps across any cloud, on-premises, public cloud, or private cloud. And increased visibility into business insights across all of those workloads. And last but not least, it's simple. Consider being able to implement a fully integrated Citrix portfolio from a single management plane, or provide unified, reliable access to any app or data in any environment. To give you an example, in the past, if you wanted to implement remote access, you had to implement Citrix Gateway, build knowledge to install and operate, get certificates, IPs, and much more. With Citrix Cloud Services, this is just one checkbox in the console. Next, let's focus on the different options you have to provide virtual apps and desktops with Citrix. This is the do-it-yourself model, which has been the traditional way to do virtualization for years. In this scenario, customers have to operate and maintain everything themselves, from the management to the resource layer. In 2015, Citrix introduced Virtual Apps and Desktop Service, giving customers the ability to manage apps and desktops from the cloud and on-prem via a cloud-based management console. This management layer is operated and maintained by Citrix. Another option we introduced in 2019 is Citrix Managed Desktops, which for the first time Citrix helps customers manage applications and desktops all within the Azure cloud. Customers can connect back to their Azure AD or AD and images. It's a simplified version of Virtual Apps and Desktop Service that strictly supports Azure as a resource location. In today's webinar, we focus on the Virtual Apps and Desktop Service in the middle. Let's have a look at the top reasons why to use Virtual Apps and Desktop Service with public cloud workloads. What are the top reasons customers decide to utilize Virtual Apps and Desktop Service with public cloud workloads? First thing that comes to mind is cost optimization. There are several aspects we have to consider when discussing this topic. Choice is another important reason. Virtual Apps and Desktop Service gives you the flexibility to make most of your public cloud strategy and be agile to fulfill upcoming business requirements. Virtual Apps and Desktop Service projects are often coupled to modern workplace initiatives, or however those are named in your company. When designing the modern workplace, it is very important to be equipped for the future. Finally, we have some exciting news we would like to share with you. Now let's dig into the different aspects of cost optimization. Independent from Citrix. If a company starts its public cloud journey, they have certain use cases and benefits in mind. Here you see some of those we regularly identify with our customers. Some customers have a cloud-first strategy, which basically means they want to reduce their data center footprint and introduce several benefits. Another benefit of public clouds is the on-demand usage, which allows a pay-per-use model. You do no longer have to plan ahead and scale your infrastructure for peak workloads, but instead just use and pay what is actually required. Backup and disaster recovery is a very important topic for most customers. Public clouds enable customers to redesign and optimize backup and disaster recovery concepts. To sum it up, it's the scalability, dimensioning, and flexibility of public clouds that enables those use cases. What benefits does this bring to virtual apps and desktops infrastructures? As a former IT architect, I know the process of designing a virtual apps and desktop infrastructure quite well. It all starts with the sizing. You have a number of users you expect in production. Based on your experience and guidelines, you will calculate the number and size of the servers and/or VMs. Well, this is based on assumptions. If you are like me, Those assumptions are typically what we call conservative, which means there is some buffer included. Especially in certain verticals like retail, there's a lot of variety on the actual usage over the term of a year. However, you have to size the infrastructure for the peak workload to satisfy business requirements. Finally, to fulfill SLAs, you will have to add spare capacity and probably spread the infrastructure across several data centers. This all results in higher costs. In a public cloud, this is less of a concern, as you can scale and dimension your workloads on demand. But it's not only the scalability and dimensioning of a public cloud that helps to reduce cost. Another aspect is the flexibility. If we consider a normal workday, we often see the following pattern. Users come in the morning and we see the load of the infrastructure increase. At lunchtime, there's a little dip because of lunch break. After lunch, the workload increases again before employees leave. Some might reconnect from home to finish some urgent work. This all leaves the infrastructure with a lot of unused resources during off hours. Autoscale, a feature that comes with virtual apps and desktops service, is designed to scale your workloads on demand and leverage the consumption-based approach of public clouds to reduce operational costs. Autoscale is easy to configure. It can be configured based on time and/or load schedules, which take the actual usage of the infrastructure into account. Furthermore, there is a dashboard to monitor usage and savings. I would like to finish this section with a customer example we have seen in Northern Europe in 2019. This customer was a long-time Citrix customer with around about 1,600 end users and approximately 120 VDAs. For those who are not familiar with this abbreviation, VDAs are the VMs that provide the apps and desktops to the end users. The customer had a cloud-first strategy, moving workloads from their own data center into a public cloud. This project started already in 2018. Back then, customer decided not to leverage virtual apps and desktop servers, but instead did a lift and shift approach. This basically means the customer decided to move the virtual apps and desktop side one-to-one into public cloud, the management layer as well as the resource layer. After 1 year, the public cloud bill was at approximately 230,000. We engaged with the customer and provided information on potential benefits by migrating to the virtual apps and desktop servers. One aspect was the potential savings we calculated together with the customer. For this customer, the potential savings on public cloud consumption was at $150,000, which is a saving of approximately 65%. Let's move on to the next topic and have a look at how virtual apps and desktop servers can help with choice. We learned that Citrix Cloud is a platform and resource locations can be plugged in as required. Many customers start with adding their private cloud, their own data center, which can be a hyper-converged infrastructure, as well as the common virtualization platforms from us, VMware, or Microsoft. Next, customers want to start the public cloud journey and add a public cloud. A common assumption is that this is the one public cloud for all use cases. But we learned through our engagements in the last years that the public cloud journey typically starts with one public cloud, but is very often being expanded to a multi-cloud strategy quite fast. With virtual apps and desktop service, we can enable a smooth transition into public clouds as well as a hybrid cloud scenario, giving you the agility to fulfill new business requirements and strategic infrastructure decisions. But what does this mean? Which capabilities in virtual apps and desktop service provide you this agility? First of all, it gives you one console to manage workloads across all your resource locations. Next, as we learned before, with Autoscale, you can power manage workloads and optimize costs. Last but not least, we offer a centralized image management to ease operations. This is called machine creation services. Autoscale and machine creation service were available for Azure and AWS in virtual apps and desktop service for some time. Recently, we added Autoscale and machine creation service for Google Cloud Platform as well. To ensure best integration and keep pace with Google Cloud Platform, we decided to provide machine creation services for Google Cloud Platform with virtual apps and desktop service only. Keeping pace is a great transition into the next section, Futureproof, which is another top reason to decide for virtual apps and desktop service. A recent announcement that created a lot of interest in the market was Microsoft's announcement of Windows Virtual Desktop. You can think about Windows Virtual Desktop as the evolution of remote desktop services, the underlying platform we've leveraged for over 25 years. With this offering, Microsoft is giving us a new platform, only in Azure, that we can extend with the Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop Service. This is great news for our customers who have been thinking about cloud but aren't quite sure how to get there. With our Virtual Apps and Desktop Service, you will be able to leverage the new Windows Virtual Desktop model in a true hybrid cloud fashion, performing migrations or capacity bursts into the Azure cloud seamlessly using the same images and tools you use today. We are also excited about the Microsoft announcement for operating systems. Multi-session Windows 10 will give us new flexibility where in the past we were locked into Windows Server, and extended support for Windows 7 will bring new opportunity to move legacy workloads into the cloud. Citrix provides value add on top of Windows Virtual Desktop. And here's the statement to highlight this. Citrix Workspace offerings, including Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop Service, are authorized by Microsoft to provide users with the benefits of Windows Virtual Desktop. This is a very important statement as it shows our close relationship with Microsoft. But the question is, what value add does Citrix bring to Windows Virtual Desktop? Since many of you in this webinar are very familiar with the value add Citrix has brought to RDS for years, I always like to use that as a frame of reference. Just as the Microsoft hosting capabilities have moved from on-premises deployments to Azure, Citrix is porting our on-prem value add from on-prem to cloud side by side with Microsoft. This actually means that you can use Windows Virtual Desktop and we can add value on top of that to make it enterprise ready. I will not touch on all of those values, but giving you some examples. With our famous HDX protocol, we can provide the best-in-class user experience on top of Windows Virtual Desktop to your employees. With Autoscale, we can help to optimize the Azure consumption to save you some money while still making the resource available when required. Windows Virtual Desktop is purely Azure, but with Citrix on top, we allow you to run a hybrid cloud scenario, including your on-prem data center. You can use one management layer to seamlessly manage both worlds with one set of tools. And as you can see, there's a lot more we can do. The entitlement to bring value add to Windows Virtual Desktop comes with our virtualization services in Citrix Cloud, namely Citrix Workspace Premium Plus, Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop Service, Citrix Virtual App Service, or Citrix Managed Desktop Service. For me, this slide is very important as it corrects a common misunderstanding I would like to highlight now. For some reasons, customers often think that when they would like to use Windows Virtual Desktop, that they have to use Citrix Managed Desktops on our end. This is not true. Citrix Managed Desktop is just one service we can offer to add value to Windows Virtual Desktop. But basically, you can use any of our virtualization cloud services to add value to Windows Virtual Desktop. In the last section, I would like to highlight some recent updates that might help you to start your cloud journey with Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop Service. The Citrix Trust Center provides the latest information on our approach to security, privacy, and compliance. For example, you find some decent information about GDPR, data privacy, and much more. Recently, we made our SOC 2 reports as well as the ISO 27001 certificate available here as well. Overall, the Trust Center is the best starting point to overcome any security concerns. In case you have any additional questions, please reach out to your sales representative. Let's touch briefly on the following use cases: work anywhere and business continuity. You might think those are long-time use cases, so what's the news in that? Well, if you look at the newspapers in the last month, as sadly as it is, those are very relevant topics right now. Many enterprises ask their employees to stay at home, as well as employees are not able to commute to work because of weather conditions. Virtual Apps and Desktop Service with public cloud workloads can enable the employees to work from anywhere. With Virtual Apps and Desktop Service, you can instantly deploy new users to the environment. The cloud service scales on demand, and it actually includes the gateway service to access your virtual apps and desktops remotely. Additionally, in contrast to on-premises infrastructures, Citrix does not prevent any service launches if you overuse your cloud license amount. License usage provides information for understanding your cloud license usage, so Citrix expects that you will monitor your license assignments and stay within your purchased license amount. If you believe that you are going to overuse your service, Citrix encourages you to contact your sales representative to discuss your licensing requirements. As described earlier in the webinar, the combination of virtual apps and desktop service with workloads in public clouds also provides you with instant scalability of your workloads, which in the past required you to purchase additional hardware, which itself took some time. So to sum it up, we enable you to be prepared for the worst case. Next, I would like to touch on an additional service. There's a machine learning platform built into Citrix Cloud. If you ask anybody else whether they can do instant data collection, automated user and entity behavior analysis via machine learning, and automated alerting and decision support, they will say no, not without installing a ton of agents, finding data, massaging, and connecting that data, analyzing it, and not without manual insights and enforcement. Citrix simply turns no into on. It's as easy as that to enable Citrix Analytics Service. Citrix Analytics Service comes in 3 flavors. Citrix Analytics for Operations collates and presents information on user activities such as websites visited and the bandwidth spent. It also reports bandwidth use and detects threats such as malware and phishing sites. You can use these key metrics to monitor your network and take corrective actions. Citrix Analytics for Security collates and provides visibility into user and application behavior. You can track every aspect of the behavior, and by leveraging advanced machine learning algorithms, you can distinguish between normal behavior and a malicious attacker, thus enabling you to proactively identify and manage internal and external threats. Citrix Analytics for Performance provides visibility into the performance of Citrix virtual apps and desktop sites across an organization. Performance is indicated by the User Experience Score, which quantifies the factors that define the experience a user has while using a virtual app or desktop. Analytics can be a quick first step into Citrix Cloud Services, as it is a turnkey solution that can also leverage an on-prem virtual apps and desktop environment as the data source, providing you actionable insights powered by Citrix Cloud. Since Q1 2020, Analytics for Security as well as Analytics for Performance is offered as an add-on package also for on-prem customers. A public cloud journey also creates new requirements towards your network infrastructure. A robust, fast, and agile networking infrastructure is paramount for delivering a world-class workspace user experience. And Citrix, with its networking portfolio, is here to help. Delivering Citrix Workspace via a Citrix-powered network brings additional values such as improved user experience, advanced traffic controls, and deeper insights. With Citrix SD-WAN, we can easily and securely connect new data centers and public clouds into your corporate network. Additionally, SD-WAN improves performance and reliability with features like WAN link aggregation, quality of service, and Cloud Direct for SaaS apps. Citrix ADC brings advanced ADC capabilities into public clouds, and with our pooled licensing, you can again transition into cloud at your pace. Are you using Citrix networking products already in your on-prem infrastructure? Great! As we have a software-defined approach, the learning curve to run them in a public cloud is minimal, and our network portfolio is available in all major public clouds. Now let's sum it up. We have talked about the top reasons why you should use virtual apps and desktop service with public cloud workloads. We talked about cost optimization, choice, future-proof, as well as we shared some news to help you to start your cloud journey. But where to actually start? Reach out to your Citrix sales representative. They are happy to help you. If you want to discover more technical details, visit the Citrix Tech Zone. The Tech Zone is part of our online documentation and gives you a lot of technical details, including design decisions, reference architectures, deployment guides, and tech papers. If you need some technical help, please leverage our Citrix Solution Advisors and/or Citrix Consulting Services. They can help you with their experience and make your cloud journey a success. This brings us to the end of today's webinar. Thanks a lot for your attention and have a great day. Bye bye.